How y'all doing? Yes. I wanna welcome you to another episode of Getting Stoned with your host, Mr. Stone Petoskey. Yes, indeed. We are coming up on Thanksgiving here now. Yeah, it's one of probably my favorite holiday, if I'm being honest. I do certainly enjoy my Halloween, but Thanksgiving is definitely number one. The food, the friends, the family, just the whole idea, giving thanks. So many things in this life, are worth our gratitude. One could say that an attitude of gratitude, there's no higher point of view. Each day, each moment a blessing. Yes, one never truly knows when the last breath will be breathed, when the last time they will be able to hug their loved one or take their dog for a walk. So as for myself, before I get out there into the world and living my day, I always take some time to say thank you. Thank you to Mother Earth, to Father Sky. Thank you to the plants and the animals. Thank you to the vegetables and the minerals. Thank you to all sentient beings for another day to live and to laugh and to love and to learn. Yes. So I'm sending all y'all one of those big love-filled hugs. I want y'all to feel that now. Settle on into it. Yeah. Settle on into it. Yes. As so often in life, we're in a big hurry to get somewhere, to do something. And we often forget to just be. To just be. Be in the moment. Appreciate it. Appreciate the simplicity. Appreciate the immensity of all of the singular things that had to fall perfectly into place for this moment to arrive and for you to be here, living it. Yes. So much to be thankful for. So I hope all y'all have a beautiful, beautiful gathering with whomever and wherever it happens for you. You are able to give thanks. Yes. All right. Well, so let's just hop on into it here. I'm gonna read a little bit from one of my favorite writers, thinkers, people, humans. Mr. Alan Watts. It's from his book titled The Wisdom of Insecurity, a message for an age of anxiety. Yes, we are certainly in the age of anxiety, man. Everybody, woo! So much stressing going on, so much pointing the fingers, so much fussing and fighting. It's anxiousness is swirling all about the place. Anxiety, woo boy. So as is often the case with Mr. Alan Watts, he speaks to it in his own unique and profound and simple and delightful and playful way. So I'm going to read a little bit of the chapter called The Great Stream. we seem to be like flies caught in honey. Because life is sweet, we do not want to give it up. And yet, the more we become involved in it, the more we are trapped, limited, and frustrated. We love it and hate it at the same time. We fall in love with people and possessions only to be tortured by anxiety for them. The conflict is not only between ourselves and the surrounding universe, it is between ourselves and ourselves. For intractable nature is both around and within us. The exasperating life, which is at once lovable and perishable, pleasant and painful, a blessing and a curse, is also the life of our own bodies. It is as if we were divided into two parts. On the one hand, there is the conscious I, at once intrigued and baffled, the creature who is caught in the trap. On the other hand, there is me, and me is a part of nature, the wayward flesh with all its concurrently beautiful and frustrating limitations. I fancies itself as a reasonable fellow and is forever criticizing me for its perversity, for having passions which get I into trouble, for being so easily subject to painful and irritating diseases, for having organs that wear out, and for having appetites which can never be satisfied, so designed that if you try to ally them finally and fully into one big bust, you get sick. Perhaps the most exasperating thing about me, about nature and the universe, is that it will never stay put. It is like a beautiful woman who will never be caught, and whose very flightiness is her charm. For the perishability and changefulness of the world is part and parcel of its liveliness and loveliness. This is why the poets are so often at their best when speaking of change, of the transitoriness of human life. The beauty of such poetry lies in something more than a note of nostalgia, which brings a catch in the throat. Our revels now are ended. These, our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And, like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit shall dissolve. And, like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. There is more in this beauty than the succession of melodious images, and the theme of dissolution does not simply borrow its splendor from the things dissolved. The truth is rather that the images, though beautiful in themselves, come to life in the act of vanishing. The poet takes away their static solidity and turns a beauty which would otherwise be only statuesque and architectural into music, which no sooner than it is sounded dies away. The towers, palaces, and temples become vibrant and break from the excess of life within them. To be passing is to live. To remain and continue is to die. Unless a grain of corn fall into the ground and die, it remains alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit. For the poets have seen the truth that life, change, movement, and insecurity are so many names for the same thing. Here, if anywhere, truth is beauty, for movement and rhythm are of the essence of all things lovable. In sculpture, architecture, and painting, the finished form stands still, But even so, the eye finds pleasure in the form only when it contains a certain lack of symmetry. When, frozen in stone as it may be, it looks as if it were in the midst of motion. It is not then a strange inconsistency and an unnatural paradox that I resist change in me and in the surrounding universe. For change is not merely a form of destruction. Every form is really a pattern of movement, and every living thing is like the river, which, if it did not flow out, would never have been able to flow in. Life and death are not two opposed forces. They are simply two ways of looking at the same force, for the movement of change is as much the builder as the destroyer. The human body lives because it is a complex of motions, of circulation, respiration, and digestion. To resist change, to try to cling to life, is therefore like holding your breath. If you persist, you kill yourself. In thinking of ourselves as divided into I and me, we easily forget that consciousness also lives because it is moving. It is as much a part and product of the stream of change as the body and the whole natural world. If you look at it carefully, you will see that consciousness, the thing you call I, is really a stream of experiences, of sensations, thoughts, and feelings in constant motion. But because these experiences include memories, we have the impression that I is something solid and still, like a tablet upon which life is writing a record. Yet the tablet moves with the writing finger as the river flows along with the ripples, so that memory is like a record written on water. A record not of graven characters, but of waves stirred into motion by other waves, which are called sensations and facts. The difference between I and me is largely an illusion of memory. In truth, I is of the same nature as me. It is part of our whole being, just as the head is part of the body. But if this is not realized, I and me, the head and the body, will feel at odds with each other. I, not understanding that it too is part of the stream of change, will try to make sense of the world and experience by attempting to fix it. We shall then have a war between consciousness and nature, between the desire for permanence and the fact of flux. This war must be utterly futile and frustrating, a vicious circle, because it is a conflict between the two parts of the same thing. It must lead thought and action into circles which go nowhere faster and faster. For when we fail to see that our life is change, we set ourselves against ourselves and become like Ouroboros, the misguided snake who tries to eat its own tail. Ouroboros is the perennial symbol of all vicious circles, of every attempt to split our being asunder and make one part conquer the other. Struggle as we may, fixing will never make sense out of change. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Religion, as most of us have known it, has quite obviously tried to make sense out of life by fixation. It has tried to give this passing world a meaning by relating it to an unchanging God, and by seeing its goal and purpose as an immortal life in which the individual becomes one with the changeless nature of the deity. Rest eternal grant unto them, O Lord, and let light perpetual shine upon them. Likewise, it attempts to make sense out of the swirling movements of history by relating them to the fixed laws of God, who whose word endureth forever. We have thus made a problem for ourselves by confusing the intelligible with the fixed. We think that making sense out of life is impossible unless the flow of events can somehow be fitted into a framework of rigid forms. To be meaningful, life must be understandable in terms of fixed ideas and laws. And these in turn must correspond to unchanging and eternal realities behind the shifting scene. But if this is what making sense out of life means, we have set ourselves the impossible task of making fixity out of flux. Before we can find out whether there is some better way of understanding our universe, we must see clearly how this confusion of sense and fixity has come about. The root of the difficulty is that we have developed the power of thinking so rapidly and one-sidedly that we have forgotten the proper relation between thoughts and events, words and things. Conscious thinking has gone ahead and created its own world. And when this is found to conflict with the real world, we have the sense of a profound discord between I, the conscious thinker, and nature. This one-sided development of man is not peculiar to intellectuals and brainy people, who are only extreme examples of a tendency which has affected our entire civilization. What we have forgotten is that thoughts and words are conventions, and that it is fatal to take conventions too seriously. A convention is a social convenience, as, for example, money. Money gets rid of the inconveniences of barter, but it is absurd to take money too seriously, to confuse it with real wealth, because it will do you no good to eat it or wear it for clothing. Money is more or less static. For gold, silver, strong paper, or a bank balance can stay put for a long time. But real wealth, such as food, is perishable. Thus, a community may possess all the gold in the world, but if it does not farm its crops, it will starve. In somewhat the same way, thoughts, ideas, and words are coins for real things. They are not those things, and though they represent them, there are many ways in which they do not correspond at all. As with money and wealth, so with thoughts and things. Ideas and words are more or less fixed, whereas real things change. It is easier to say I than to point to our own body and say want, than to try to indicate a vague feeling in the mouth and stomach. It is more convenient to say water than to lead your friend to a well and make suitable motions. It is also convenient to use the same words for the same things and to keep these words unchanged, even though the things we are indicating are in constant motion. Of course, there is nothing new in this predicament of discovering that ideas and words cannot plumb the ultimate mystery of life, that reality, or if you will, God, cannot be comprehended by the finite mind. The only novelty is that the predicament is now social rather than individual. It is widely felt, not confined to the few. Almost every spiritual tradition recognizes that a point comes when two things must happen. Man must surrender his separate feeling I, and must face the fact that he cannot know, that is, define the ultimate. These traditions also recognize that beyond this point there lies a vision of God which cannot be put into words, and which is certainly something utterly different from perceiving a radiant gentleman on a golden throne, or a literal flash of blinding light. They also indicate that this vision is a restoration of something which we once had and lost because we did not or could not appreciate it. This vision is then the unclouded awareness of this undefinable something which we call life, present reality, the great stream, the eternal now. An awareness without the sense of separation from it. The moment I name it, it is no longer God. It is man, tree, green, black, red, soft, hard, long, short, atom, universe. One would readily agree with any theologian who deplores pantheism that these denizens of the world of verbiage and convention, these sundry things conceived as fixed and distinct entities, are not God. If you ask me to show you God, I will point to the sun, or a tree, or a worm. But if you say, you mean then that God is the sun, the tree, the worm, and all other things, I shall have to say that you have missed the point entirely. Alan Watts, baby. Yeah, brother. Yeah. Nobody quite like Mr. Watts. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your incredible points of view, your wisdom, your love, your generosity, your humor. Thank you for sharing all of it. Rest in peace, my brother. That was fun. That's some good stuff. You know, that kind of thing you just got to listen to or read a few times to kind of really let it sink in. You know what I'm saying? All right. Time for a poem. All right, here we go. This is what I opened up to, so this is what we're going with. It's called Chasing Kerouac's Shadow by Micheline. The alabaster city gleams in the sunlight. I am on a bus going to Santa Rosa. Away from the stinking hotel, they tell me I am famous, like the Jerome cookies. Streets, poems, nut houses, jails, paintings, con men, and time. My 20 years of poems and paintings stored away in houses and cellars, relentless with anger and love. I ponder at life and the world around me. The bus speeds on the highway going 60. I am 52, live alone, considered some mad freak genius. In reality, I am a fucked up poet who will never come to terms with the world. No matter how beautiful the flowers grow, no matter how children smile, no matter how blue is the bluest sky, the harsh realities of life, that life is mostly a put-up job, the genius reign avoids us. The lone solitary soul that does her beautiful dance for all to see. I seek the genuine leaf blowing in the wind, the real person tapping a song whose melody flows through rivers and time. The image that dances with stars, the sun that melts anger and harassment. Years spent begging and hustling, carrying paintings on buses, carrying mattresses through streets, evictions, lost loves, hangovers, rheumatism, hemorrhoids, for a muse that rarely pays off. I must be mad, bewitched like a lost gambler, down to my last bet with no car fare or candy. I am not subtle or charming. I cannot lie for money or tell stories. I'm the gray fox, some schmuck, the old pro chasing the mad dream, the crazy Jew himself. Why, who don't know when to quit, who can't say die unless I die. It is all a mad dream. The racetrack full of maniacs, lost gamblers living on hope and dreams. Tomorrow is never better. The same bus is full of beaten and tired faces. I only know when the cock rises and the crow howls. To eat, to drink, to take a leak. And chicken is good to eat when one is hungry. Money buys everybody. That is why the world is fucked up. That is why politicians have 17 faces and speechwriters. And waitresses wear lipstick. Why mediocrity rules. Why poets hang out in groups for protection. Why musicians disappear faster than flies. And artists suck the rich quicker than summer watermelon and bourgeoisie children. Why the communists and capitalists use the same deck of tricks to hide the miraculous, the magic of life, the wonder of children and salamanders and birds. Wonder is the thunder. Wonder is the spring rain itself. Wonder is the young girl in love. Wonder is love. The concerto, the hummingbird, the clouds moving across the night sky. It is raining again. Light against darkness. Shadows chasing the sun chasing the shadows. Man against the night. Man and woman together with the night. The day awakens. Let's sing a song for those who chase the night, for those that dance with light. One speck of light, no matter who is light, light the unknown. The unknown, it is all we have. Anything is possible. Like newborn colors flashing across the universe. The road, the vagabond, the dreamers, the dancers, the unsung fuck the gung-ho. Byron Hunt is doing a collage at the Goodman Building. Ed Balkowski is doing another painting, raising one arm to the sky. Rosalie Sorrells is singing a song in Kansas. Sam Shepard is smiling. Rare birds are coming out with new coats of color. Rainy Cass is alive and well in New Orleans. Valentine Chuzioff is sketching some blonde in Jackson Square. Bodenheim hustling another poem for wine. Franz Klein singing a sad song at the Cedar. Kerouac talking to the moon again. James T. Farrell chasing a waitress at Yankee Stadium. Charlie Mingus bopping, chucking, eating a steak, playing bass with angels. Wilbur Ware, Gil Galkins, Bill Bossio, Al DeLaciaro, Bob Bowles, Charlie Stark, Sue McGraw, Linda, Charlotte, Banana Boat, Steamboat Jones, Jeremiah, Jerusalem. The light is coming out. I'll give the sun away. It belongs to everybody. It's not mine to give away. Those with the sun, those seeking the sun, those on the run in the Chicago night, those in jail, those in the towers, those chasing a ghost in the wilderness, those on the road, those with dreams, those who will never give up, those who are learning to dance, those perplexed, agonized, whacked, wretched, tattooed, confused. We are all the sun. You are the sun. The world is one. Those with wonder, you are the sun. Shake the sun. We are one. The moon and the sun are brothers. Damn. Damn. What was that? That poem was, what was that? Unreal. Beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful piece of work there. Jack Micheline. Thank you for that one, brother. That one got me. That one got me deep. That hit deep. Woo. All right, let's do a song, y'all. This is a Neil Young tune. You're drifting. Comes a time when you settle down. Comes a night when we were young. Time we get away. This old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder taught to reason. Laying down, there comes a time. There comes a time. We were captured, took our souls and we flew away. You were right, we were giving. That's how we kept what we gave away. This old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder taught to reasoning. Laying down, there comes a time. There comes a time. There comes a time. Right on, right on, right on. Mr. Neil Young, comes a time. All right, all y'all. I want to say thank you so much for stopping on by, giving my humble little show a listen. I appreciate you. I send so much love and light to you and yours. Again, I hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving. Until next time, this is Tom Petoskey saying, peace.